So when you're a beginner right now and you're getting into things, especially during this time period, you have to look for a competitive edge. Like if your company that you're looking to invest in does not have any type of edge on the market, it's probably not the best company for you to buy into, especially during this time period, guys. Look.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 28 of Rookie Mondays. Today it's time to talk about how to pick the best stocks for your portfolio. I know we just found out we're technically in a recession, right? And so we saw a bottom of a market potentially, and it's time to ride the wave up. And you know, a lot of people want to buy high, sell low.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No, it's time to buy low and sell high. So how do you know exactly what to buy? We're about to tell you right now. So without further ado, let's get right into it, No?
Yeah, so I know we went over this before already, right? So we're going to try to go slow, but if you have any questions, make sure you check out our episode. What was it? Rookie Mondays 4, I think, right?
Number 4.
Yeah, so make sure you check that out. But let's go into it. So the first thing I look at is credibility, right? Like, obviously, we've been in a bear market. We've been doing really bad in the stock market. So I want to see the companies that have actually been doing decent. There's no companies that have been like super profitable. You're not going to see a company up 50%, but I want to see if a company has been able to survive. And the companies that come to mind are the biggest and the best companies, right? Like Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, Tesla, companies like that. Because I'm like, they're credible and people still like them and they've done great things. So that's what I think about.
No, I agree. I actually love that point, bro, because look how these companies did in a time where the economy was in turmoil, right? The economy was down bad. These companies still performed well. That's a great sign. If you could perform well in hard times, imagine how you can perform when things stabilize.
Exactly. That right there kind of ties into the second point, right? Like brand loyalty. Because if I think about it, I'm not saying that, for example, right? Uber. Everyone loves Uber. They have a strong brand, but they're not the best stock. So you kind of have to be careful here. Like, yes, you have to have good brand loyalty, but the credibility piece has to be there. Like, did you actually perform well over the last 5 years, 10 years, and do you have that brand loyalty? So that's why I bring up stuff like a Tesla, like a Apple, right? And even Nvidia, for example. Like, that's why I bring that stuff up, because when you think about it, Apple has a brand loyalty. It has a chokehold over all of us, right? When, like, if you see a girl who has a green text, you're not even gonna text her back at that point. You know, it's just annoying. You can't even FaceTime shorty.
We don't do green messages.
Nah, you can't. Yo, you got WhatsApp? Let me hit you up on that. Let me get you a FaceTime there. Like, I want a regular FaceTime. So that's just there in itself. iMessage. That's another one, right? Xbox.
And it's funny you say Xbox. Talking about Microsoft. I was just about to say that.
We're always on the same time.
Nah, for real, bro. That brand loyalty is right there. Anybody in the corporate world, anybody doing business, they're probably using Microsoft products.
No, they're 100%.
Not even exactly. Not even probably. They're definitely using Microsoft products. I mean, you see it even in the education system, right? A lot of us use Microsoft for in the schools.
The Microsoft Teams,
right? We even talk about Microsoft Word, bro.
Bro, what? I completely forgot about that. That's crazy. Like, if you really think about it, if you work a job right now, most likely, I think we could probably bet on this. You guys are using PowerPoint, right? You guys are using Word. You guys are using, actually, maybe you guys are using Google, right? That might be a different thing. But PowerPoint and Word is the biggest thing. Excel, that's all Microsoft products.
Bro, you just brought up Google. That's another one, right? Brand loyalty there. Google is a freaking verb now.
Yeah, it's in the dictionary, right? Literally, I think it's actually like legitimately in the dictionary.
Bro, you can't get any better than that if you're a business, right?
Yeah, think about it.
Come on now, like people don't even say, "Yo, let me search something." It's let me Google something.
Facts.
I feel bad for companies like Bing or
I don't know what Bing is.
For real, like and you can't even compete. People be like, "Oh, Google something on Bing, bro." Like, come on, yo, you can't win. So that's something that we look for, brand loyalty. And the next thing I would say we look for is leadership. You gotta have a great leader steering the ship at the end of the day, because that's really what it is. For example, companies every quarter have to present something called earnings, right? They have earnings where it's kind of like, I tell people it's like having a physical for a company. You know, when you get a physical of your body, you checking your vitals. Your companies have to show you their vitals as well. And so you need a leader who can sell a bad quarter, because companies have bad quarters from time to time.
That's healthy, in my opinion. Like what we just went through, right? Obviously it sucked, but I think it's healthy because you have to readjust.
Nah, but if your leader could sell a bad quarter, bro, that's a great sign, because it won't allow all the investors to sell off the stock and severely plummet the price, because they're like, you know what, I kind of like what he or she said, the leader, so I'm gonna stick around with this company. That's major, bro. That's where your money's in.
I 100% agree. We were having a conversation off camera about this, right? So if your leader is someone who is able to steer the ship and does make a bad quarter look decent, then you know you're in good hands, because at the end of the day, when you have a great quarter, they're going to be able to sell that even better, right? Like at the end of the day, you guys are watching us because you guys have probably liked or commented or subscribed to the channel, right? You guys are buying into what we're doing here. That's the same thing as a company. Like you got to buy into what they're selling, and if you do, it's because most likely, the products are good, but the leader has to do something with that. So he or she is probably doing a good job, and I think that matters a lot.
Well, you could look at a company like Meta with Mark Zuckerberg. I'm not saying I'm the biggest fan of Meta per se, but you have to look at how long Mark Zuckerberg has been able to keep that company, afloat.
Yeah,
because
he's dealing with a lot, bro.
Bro, look at acquisitions, bro. Look at the think about it. Their main parent company, like Facebook, right? That's one aspect. But to stay afloat, they have to literally acquire other companies like
Instagram, WhatsApp.
Yes, bro. If I'm not LinkedIn is under Microsoft,
yeah.
but they acquired so much just to stay afloat. So you have to respect that. That's all leadership. So make sure who you're investing in has a great leader. That'll either make or break your stock.
Yeah. So far we have credibility, brand loyalty, and then leadership. And this is the other part, right? So when you're a beginner right now and you're getting into things, especially during this time period, you have to look for a competitive edge. Like if your company that you're looking to invest in does not have any type of edge on the market, it's probably not the best company for you to buy into, especially during this time period, guys. Look, we want you guys, this is Rookie Mondays. We know you're not the best stock picker. You're not the best person when it comes to giving advice or taking advice when it comes to the market. So keep things simple. Just look for the best companies that have a competitive edge. For example, Amazon. It changed the game for everyone, right? Like one day delivery too. At my apartment right now, you walk in, you literally see 6 packages, all Amazon. I don't even see, what's the other one, UBS or UPS?
I guess.
Right? Like, I forgot the name. Think about it. Like,
Word.
Amazon has changed the game. They have a competitive advantage over the shipping stuff. They have a competitive advantage over cloud. They're the number one cloud servicing company in the world right now.
Yeah.
So that's what you look for. You said Google. We don't even know Bing. We don't even know Yahoo. If I see Yahoo, I think of someone as an idiot. I'm like, what are you doing, bro? Like, I'll be on Google, literally typing in google.com.
That's a fact.
And I'd be like, wait, what did I just do that for? But that's the competitive edge. So definitely make sure you got that on lock.
Yeah. And the other thing you should look for, I would say, also is innovation. You want to look for companies that are constantly innovating, because you don't want your company to be stagnant, because as we know, things move quickly, right? We're a fast-moving society. Technology is constantly coming out, so you have to make sure the company you're in is key at innovation.
Absolutely.
Because then where are you going to be in the future? You might be lit now, you might be the company now, but if your company's not willing to innovate, to move on with the times, then guess what? Your money is going to stay where it's at too. Yeah,
so speaking of innovation, we spoke about this before, JP Morgan. They are obviously one of the largest banks, but they got involved in the metaverse, right? So they were innovative in the sense that they literally have their own office in the metaverse now. You think about healthcare. That's one of the biggest industries in the entire world right now. But when you look at it, this is why we're bringing up these companies. Like, start piecing things together, right? We said Microsoft, we said Apple, we said Amazon. Those are the biggest companies in the world?
Right.
They're all getting into healthcare. Apple literally is not just a tech company. The Apple Watch tracks your heartbeat, right? It's able to detect if something's wrong with you. That's health. Microsoft just partnered with CVS months ago to get data from them. That's health. Amazon just did the same thing now. That's all health. So they're being innovative and thinking about the future and getting into different industries.
And healthcare is the biggest industry in the country.
So
you
think about
see why they're transitioning. So those are great signs for those companies. Like they're constantly finding ways to stay on top. Why would you not invest in them? They're gonna stay on top.
Keep it simple, right? Like, so we always say this, like the KISS thing. Keep it simple, stupid, right? Like, you can say stupid, you can say silly, whatever you want. But like at the end of the day, there's no need to get crazy. Don't reinvent the wheel. There's never a need to do that, especially when these richest people in the world are doing the same thing. So we always say follow the money.
That's a fact.
Right? So that's the other tip we want to give you guys. And speaking of the rich, right, and what they do, let's talk about ETFs, for example, and how to identify which companies to rock with. So dive into that.
So think about it like this, everybody. ETFs are made by experts. We're talking about the best people in the stock market. They know exactly what they're doing. So what I want to do is follow what they do.
Explain what an ETF is actually, so just in case.
Right, so it's an exchange traded fund, right? It's a fund that's comprised of multiple companies all put into one basket, and you invest into that basket, right? So what I would do is look at what companies they're putting into that basket, right? What companies do the experts see as credible? So you can check this out by going to sites like etfdb.com, etf.com. They both will show you the holdings of certain ETFs. Yep. So like, let's say I wanted to get into, let's say semiconductors, and I'm going to type in semiconductor ETF. I'm going to see the different ETFs that are surrounded around semiconductors, and I'm going to see what companies that they see as credible. So if every single ETF that's about semiconductors has NVIDIA, AMD, Broadcom, right? I'm going to be like, well, let me get NVIDIA, AMD, Broadcom. You see what I'm saying? So that's a great way to check it out for y'all.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm going to do a shameless plug. Okay, so I love Square, right? Like at the end of the day, there's literally an ETF now for digital payments and crypto. Square has a huge allocation in that ETF. Yep. When you look at tech, like VGT, the Vanguard fund, the two biggest holdings are Microsoft and Apple, and they make up 40% of that ETF. And that ETF has what, over 300 holdings?
Yeah, like 352 holdings, I think.
So when we say holdings, guys, that means that ETF has over 300 companies invested in that one basket. But inside that basket, 40% of it is owned by Microsoft and Apple. So just think about that, right? Like that means that those companies are the golden companies when it comes to that tech sector, right? So that's what you have to think about when you're picking your stocks. And then financials, right? You want to talk about that?
Yeah, financials. Make sure that your companies are healthy financially. So I know I talked about earnings, for example. Earnings that kind of give you those vitals, right? Now, make sure that you're checking out their financials at large in general. See how they did in previous quarters, not just this past quarter, because that will tell you if they're actually a company to invest in, because that's what institutions look at. Institutions drive the market, right? They're the ones that actually drive whether stocks go up or down. And one thing they always look at is financials. So a way you could check it out, the simplest way, I would say, you can go to Yahoo Finance, type in your company, go to financials, and look for something called net income, because that's going to tell you whether or not they're positive on money at the end of the day, right? So if they're negative, because they can literally have a negative number. Some companies are operating on a loss. Yep. Like literally operating on a loss.
That is possible, guys. People literally think that just because you're on the stock market, you're always positive. That's not true.
Not at all, like at all. So make sure you fact check your companies. Go and check that out. Make sure net income is positive over time.
Yeah. I think that is probably the biggest one. I'm not gonna lie. If I'm investing in something, I do go check that out. If you're a rookie, you don't necessarily, I'm not going to say you have to check everything out, but that is something that's very key, because you want to know how much cash they have on hand. If they can't survive during this time period, guys, that's not a good sign. You want the best of the best, and that's why all of this is very important, right? I want to make one quick point before we wrap it up. So what do you think about being safe? Like, do you think it's good or bad?
Being safe is a great thing, honestly. You can't go wrong, because literally, like I said, you can't go wrong.
No.
Like, you're safe, so you know you're not going to lose money. And sometimes capital preservation is priority over even just gaining more capital, because the number one rule is to never lose money.
That's a fact. That's a fact. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I'm so happy you said that same thing, because people think I want to be risky as possible. That's great if you have the tolerance for it. If you don't, there's nothing wrong with picking the best companies, because you know what they've done over the last 10 years, right? It's there in front of you. So don't let anyone shame you for being like, I'm investing in Apple, Microsoft, and all I do is rock with ETFs. Bro, that's perfectly fine. You can do that. Don't make fun of no one. Just do your own thing, and you know that you're going to average 10% over the next so many years, right?
Bro,
that's okay. 10% is great.
Bro, look how those companies and look how those ETFs just performed in a time where we were in a bear market.
Facts.
We were in a bear market. Certain companies were down 70, 80%, literally. And then you look at ETFs, they're down 9%.
Right.
Down 3%. We just looked at the ETF last night. Me and Newski were talking about it. We looked up 3%. Yeah. It was up 3%.
Was it VGT or VGT? Or was it the dividends one?
It was the dividends one.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was up 3%. So it's like, yo, I can't be mad. Maybe back when things were crazy in the pandemic.
Which is not normal. That's not a normal event.
Pandemic gains, get over it. It's never come back, right?
Yeah.
The pandemic, when you see companies go up 60% in a year, it's like, that's not normal, people. No. So people got spoiled with that. Now, when you see a bear market come and those same companies that was up 70% is down 70%.
Facts.
ETFs are now up or mildly down.
Yeah.
You see who won at the end of the day.
Facts. It's all about that long-term approach. So hopefully this video gave you guys some comfort, right? Make sure you check out our video, which is, I believe, once again, episode 4 of Rookie Mondays. I think it's called How to Pick the Best Stocks, where we go into more detail. but this should help you figure out what to do during this time period so you are successful. All right. If you're still watching, we appreciate you. Thank you. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Plus, hit that little notification bell because we drop
2 videos a week,
and you don't want to miss them. Make sure you check out our episode on Wednesday. But until then, peace.
Peace.